That is basically, and that is why I have taken the risk, tremendous risk to create the fiscal space of having higher deficits. I could have gone for the more conservative way of reducing the deficit and satisfying myself with 6 or less than that percentage of growth, because even the high growth rate syndrome in the 80s was 5.6%.
That is right.
Even before 2003-4, our average growth rate was around that, because long history of GDP growth, if you go from 51 onwards, you will find 51 to 79 it was 3.5%.
The Hindu rate of growth at that time.
Rate of growth.
Yes.
Thereafter we entered into little over 5%, 5% to or so. During the 8th plan period, we had 5.6% when Dr. Shah was the finance minister, present prime minister, and he revived the economy from a very difficult situation. Today's situation is different, but I took that risk, and that is why I thought that my priority would be to come back to the path of growth rate, and if I can provide the stimulus, the 3 earlier stimulus, fiscal stimulus which we provided, for where we had to part with about 1,86,000 crores of rupees in the forms of enhanced plan outlay and in the forms of revenue sacrifice. Therefore, the target was to have sooner than later to have the high growth trajectory to be achieved. Keeping that, I have taken this risk.
You have taken this risk, but at a tremendous cost, Mr. Mukherjee, because interest payments are 36% of expenditure now. So it's for the long term.
If
how do you cope with this?
I feel it will be possible, because if you look at the investment on major infrastructures, rural infrastructures and urban infrastructure programs, if you look at, I am not taking into account of the railways and others, it has increased by substantially 62,000 to 62,000 to 1,24,000 crores of rupees.
That's right.
Almost 98% have been the step up from the both rural and urban infrastructure. That is one area. Second area, the tax concessions which we have given, for instance, corporate sectors, almost everybody talked of the fringe benefit tax.
Correct.
I have addressed that. To help the exporters, I have provided the necessary relief by extending the period of sunset clause, particularly in income tax 10A, 10B, all these areas we have addressed the problem. So, each sector where support were needed, we have provided. Moreover, we shall have to keep in mind with the growing aspirations of the people, you cannot simply resort to strict monetary policy. And if we make a comparison, I understand the USA's fiscal deficit is going to be more than 11%.
Correct.
UK's more than 16%.
The Western countries are leading.
Compared to that, India's 6.8%
is conservative.
And I do feel it would be possible to, even when I present the full budget for the next year, it would be possible to improve this situation. Because if there is a slight improvement in the international scenario, then our exports will pick up. But if the exports go down, manufacturing sectors go down, then naturally there will be revenue shortage. And if you want to step up the plan outlay, look at the stepping up of the plan outlay by 1 year, it is more than 33%.
That is right.
From
and you've crossed the 10,000
crores to 3,25,000 crores.
That's right.
2,43,000 to 3,25,000, 82,000 crores. In terms of percentage, more than 33%.
And you've also crossed the 10 lakh crore mark as far as the total expenditure is concerned.
Total expenditure, total receipt also, of course through borrowed receipts.
Now the gap is something that is of concern, because it's not very clear from your speech how exactly that is being financed, in the sense that you have said that the direct tax revenue is going to be flat. It is not going to increase. The indirect taxes, the net gain is only about 2,000 crores. Now,
additional market borrowing I have done. Those details are there in the budget papers.
And
About
how much of this is going to
3,92,000
be from
crores
other, there's no, you have not talked about divestment of PSUs at all.
I have given the philosophy of the investment.
Yes.
As and when it will take place, and perhaps it is one of the reasons which market expected that I will announce.
Yes.
That is not possible. No finance minister can do it, that I will disinvest here this, here that. Policy I have indicated.
Yes, and the